What's good, everybody? You took us to the Lord Don Bronzeville, Brisco, God Gooch, Dr. Quinn coming into your area, bringing mass hysteria, man. And right now I'm chilling with the Jam Company. And we're going to get into a little in depth about my upcoming album that I've been telling y'all for basically a year now, Don Brisco. And who better else to talk to give y'all the scoop about it other than my homie Jamal from the Jam Company.
Jam.
So what's the concept of this album?
So the concept of Don Brisco, basically Don Brisco is a memoir. It's a memoir that turned into an album. It's things about my life, things that I've fought through, things that I've gone through, things that have came up on, learning about self-determination, learning about self-confidence, self-esteem. It's my journey through my years of depression. My years growing up. You like a lot of people would think that like with the accomplishments I've made over my life, that he must have been some like really happy guy, and really it's like I had a lot of problems that a lot of people didn't really know about. What was it like? There was we'll get into it as we're going through each track, but I mean, it's a lot of things I've expressed in this whole album to really let people know that like, hey, everybody goes through it. I'm a big advocate for mental health, man, and I feel like this album is a great way for me to showcase like, me personally, like as a self-conscious rapper, like I love conscious rappers, but I feel people like Drake are self-conscious rapper. Yeah, you could say he's poppy, he's mainstream and stuff, but he's a self-conscious rapper. He talk a lot of rappers these days, you can call them emo, but they're self-conscious. They're talking about themselves. Like, this is why I fuck about you. Like, you may not know where I'm at in my life. Like, I can say it straight up and down. Me personally, like the things in my life, I ain't the same person. But those things ain't ever gonna go away. But those things have been life lessons and help me like build and become a better person over time.
You kind of start off with the opening track, Narcissist. I mean, you have like a succession of like boastful punchlines, but it's mostly kind of bigging yourself up, but there's not like how would you say there's got to be some positives to being boastful and inflating your sense of self-importance.
There is, and it's like a sense of like, behind that track, it was more like the sense of hey, like I've had my narcissistic moments. I felt like, man, like ain't like I never felt like I could do no wrong, but we all had that switch. You like when like you do something great, I'll tell you this right now, man. Never have I ever used the time I opened for Lupe for that matter. But I'd say the year after that, when I was in college, like when, like I ain't gonna lie, like niggas was like writing about me on the school newspaper like every single day, like either for track, either for rap, or I won some kind of contest. Like I was in a mansion. I call it a man beauty pageant. It was called people could laugh, but I was a part of that. It was called Essence of a Man. And I only came in there because I wanted to say a message, about being a strong role model. That's all I wanted to come in there. Originally, I never got picked, but then I wound up getting picked later on, and then because like all the people dropped out, and I won. Long story short, I won. I was doing the talent aspect. People were calling me Lupe. And trust believe, when I looked up to him so hard, like I wanted to win this so bad. Like I felt myself this whole time, like that year around then and throughout, like even during the dubstep ages, like I was a MC for dubstep and stuff, like I really felt myself. It's not like I was like pulling holes here and there, like after shows. I never really was like a fan of like doing that. Like, yeah, there've been a few chicks that like came out my way, to be honest, that, like throughout my like career as a rapper, like doing shows and stuff. But it's been a few. I'm gonna be open about that one, but never, I'm just, after all the chicks. And so, I mean, this is misogynistic, but like, I've always kept everything separated, but like, where the narcissism comes in is like, you know, like, it's like, there was a time when I was younger, it's like, I felt like, I didn't necessarily feel I was better than people, but I felt like, yo, man, like, what the fuck? Like, y'all niggas ain't on shit. So what the fuck are you niggas on? You know, like, I always surrounded myself around friends, so that kind of helped me balance my behavior. But you know, when you have your friends and we do dumb, and you know, you and your friends always do dumb shit, you know, you don't get into dumb shit, but then you're gonna be like, man, whatever, man, nigga, that's living life. But then now the term "it's just living life" has a whole new meaning. It's like, you know, you gotta learn from that shit. You know, like, you know, I can't necessarily say I was like I've been a completely narcissistic person, you know, like, just not believing I can do any wrong, but that have been, I mean, I could personally honestly say with that, you know, like, that's where it inspired from, like,
So, I mean, going back to the role model thing, I mean, we talk about in the second track for Swear to God, Black empowerment, but you also kind of contrast that with the stagnation and the issues within, you know, within our community. Like, how do you balance those two things?
you know what, I don't personally, for me, it's like, I'm here to educate my people. I'm not here to slander or hate. I got my biases. I'll be honest, as a human being, I have my own biases. You know, like, there's some like belief systems I'm not really keen with, you know, but I do take away from certain people, you know. Like, I can't agree with everybody, you know. Like, I'm talking about like people who are like, you know, not higher ups, but people who are icons in the Black. I thought about, sweat, I'm pretty sure you caught the line when I said, Wakanda forever. I'm sick of the slogan, Phil Light Chat with Bozeman. Yeah, because remember when he was like saying, because I mean, I don't know if the article was like real or not, because I remember like him like going around the internet and hearing about him saying, like, you know, he's a little tired of that slogan and stuff. But it's like, right, I gotta feel that way in myself. Like, it's no hate towards Chadwick Boseman. What he did was bring representation, and it is a tragedy he died. What he did was bring that same representation to these kids as MC Hammer to me as a kid becoming a cartoon, becoming Hammer Man or Static Shock. You know, he was that kind of role model to kids, you know, and you can never take that away from him. I cherish the fact that he played some great role models. Like, look, I mean, come on, Thurgood Marshall, Jackie Robinson, James Brown, freaking Black Panther. And Black Panther was written by 3 white dudes out of Marvel. You know? And so, I mean, there's no animosity. There was never any animosity towards that. So I feel like I hope no one takes that deep into the line. You know, I mean, I'm just saying in the aspect of like, right, we gotta understand, like, you know, they're helping represent us by giving us that hope of like, hey, we got these superheroes. But at the same time, my overall message was like, you know, we gotta quit looking to celebrities to solve our issues and start looking to ourselves. So looking at our communities, because if you want to like pinpoint it to just Black history, a lot of Black historians or historical figures were just regular freaking people. Doctors, teachers, lawyers, farmers, scientists. There weren't no celebrities. They weren't jazz singers. They weren't blues singers. They just made their money off that. They made their money from their talent because they knew their record labels and bars were paying them. That's how they knew how to finesse that. And us as artists got to really understand it, and us as consumers have to understand that.
Yeah, we have to. I mean, it's unfortunate, but there are some, you know, Black people that are owning their own businesses and owning their own
and there's nothing wrong,
labels within the music industry.
And there's nothing wrong with it. We can't say
we,
unfortunate. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, we
need to use it. We need to use it to our advantage.
Right. Exactly. Right. We do. And I feel like the majority of us do. I mean, it's not like I don't feel like we all don't. I'll never feel that way. It's like, I feel like in this game there's levels to it. You know, it's like, you know, like I first learned about subsidiary companies when I was working at a bank, because like in the bank system, I was able to look up who owned Claire's. And I believe Limited 2 when it was Limited 2 when it was still around. It was Claire's, or it was it was owned by Claire's. or the other way around, one of the two. But I started learning about subsidiary companies. So it's like, yeah, I feel like there's a way you got to infiltrate it, but it's also a thing. But it's also thinking about having to, go with your ethical and moral values as far as owning your shit. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like as an artist, I do have a responsibility of what as far as content I put out with my music. Like I ain't gonna lie, man. I mean, I'm not a fan of buying shit like Gucci or any Italian or French brand like that. I get them as gifts from from the folks and all that. But I mean, and then my favorite cologne of all time is Dolce and Gabbana. Do not get it twisted. I will buy it. But there's times I actually on my raps, I'm flexing shit like Puma, motherfucking because I'm going against the grain with a lot of shit, but or like flex like Radii, even though now I don't even write that shit no more because Radii is out of business. I fuck with them, but I can't even get them no more. But I don't even rap about that. But again, flexing that shit on raps, yeah, I mean it's we gotta understand, I ain't knocking the nigga for buying something. It's cool and all, but we gotta understand where to put our money at, where we consume, man. Again, in the civil rights era, and we're still in it. Don't buy where you can't apply. And I mean, I feel like there are some things, and I mean a lot, and I ain't gonna lie, man, there's a lot of the time you can't escape that shit. You can't escape cruelty-free. There's not a lot of cruelty-free shit. But yet again, we all talk about issues with outsourcing and all that. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword on that aspect. It's like nothing wrong promoting what you like. But you got to give it some context in the sense of oh, I just like this shit. Like me personally, I just like this shit. I don't truly try to encourage people buying it, but I can see where it comes from, where it sounds like, oh, he's saying go buy that because it's better. And I don't want to be that. But I mean, yeah, overall, what the message Sweat of God is basically, just understanding false prophets and shit. And, where right, you basically got to hit the nail on the head right there.
Now going into the theme of consumerism on the track B&G, it seems very gluttonous and self-indulging. Right? Is that the theme?
With B&G? Oh, Bang. Oh no, Bang was just a rock record, man. It's yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it was that was more of a fun record. It was I won't really say there was actually any meaning behind it as far as talking about consumerism. I felt like it was a transition to but yeah, it's a record, man. I want to go test my waters in rock and just experiment in a sense because I mean I'm a huge rock head. I mean I love the Sex Pistols. Whatchamacallit, Minor Threat, Death, Black Flag. They're from DC. Bad Brains. Thank you. I don't know why I was almost forgot them. Obviously the Misfits. The Misfits are one of my favorite bands. I wear a Misfits shirt all the time. I think you've seen that before. we did our first interview. So yeah, but it's one of test my waters in that and stuff. I mean, I love Rage Against the Machine. It's it's just I guess you could say it's my attempt of doing a punk rock rap record but at the same time it's kind of one of those I guess the influence behind that was kind of the times when I was living back at home in Champaign with weed induced adventures and just hanging out and just having just some dope ass times while listening to punk music with some friends and shit. So it's kind of just setting that mood and that motion and that emotion with that and stuff. So it's kind of easing the mind of after hearing some seriously deep shit. It's all right, let me relax. It's a breather.
Now on 5 a.m. is this based on a real event of you exchanging DMs with a girl you don't even know online?
So 5 a.m. live is usually a song about me just having my innermost thoughts about what I do on a daily. It's damn, man, I got to come out with this new idea. I got to come out with this album. It's it's basically it's like rap. It's like when conscious rappers are always talking about being in the studio, recording, and then going through life. But it's without having to say all that. It's it's kind of inferred in the sense. It's and then people talking about they could change my life. It's that part was referring to more so a lot of promoters and promoters I met outside the internet and on the internet. And it's I'm just nigga, I heard that story before. And then like I got a bunch of well wishes I don't even know. I mean, I don't even know like that. I mean, like acting like we kicked it before. Like it's kind of like that goofy shit. It's like, you know, knowing this stuff that you like been around, but you have to stay away from because like, you know, simply you got to keep your focus. You know, 5 a.m. live is like me having my focus moments on my porch, like at literally 5 a.m. Because it sounds like I be out here on my porch like at 5 a.m. smoking a blunt, just like smoking some blunts, like just like dead ass. I mean, it's so funny, but like just thinking about the next move. Because I mean, I'm always thinking. You know, I'm always like, I mean, I'm always moving and shit, you know, regardless of what the hell is going on, you know, like, yeah, no, but it ain't about no, like, it wasn't a love song or exchange of DMs and stuff. It's more about like, that part was more about like just the amount of like promoters and shit I met over the years. They keep telling me, oh, I could change your life. Oh, I can do this. I can do that.
On the fifth track, SBY, what is it?
Oh,
SYBAU.
shut your,
Shut
yeah,
your
shut your
bitch
bitch
ass
ass
up.
up.
That's what I was assuming. That's what it meant. What kind of conversations of substance do you like to normally have?
You know, when I came up with that song, like I really wanted to work with DJ Scully. Like I thought DJ Scully was like a really great he's a really great staple in the city of Chicago. He's a really great artist, really great DJ. He's done a lot for the community, you know, like I felt like since me and him have like connected and kicked it and all that, you know, like he made that song for the Kiki Elevator uh um tape and everything, and I was just like, oh, like, yo, me and Kid got to jump on that, man. Like originally I ain't gonna say names, you know, because I don't want to put niggas on blast, but there was another rapper supposed to be on there. He was a little more, I mean, not that against my homie Kid, but the homie was a little more well known, and I really wanted him on it because he has a because I mean the idea behind it is the spirit of Chicago, because I feel that DJ Scully and that one rapper come with that spirit of Chicago, but with Kid on it, Kid embodies, granted he may be from Homewood or Hazelcrest, whatever. I mean, he embodies the flavor of Chicago with his beats and with his music through juke and anything. And same with when Scully made that juke track, I was like, yo, man, we gotta rap to this, man. Like I wanna tell people like, yo, man, Quinn got y'all for the culture. You know, that's what I mean. I felt like that was a track for the culture more than a track for self. Because I mean, it was like that's my appreciation to Chicago rap and the Chicago rap culture. Like I really love the jukes. I love juke. You know, I love house music. You know, like I think I felt like I had a greater appreciation for it since being in Chicago.
Now with the track Zippo, what are some bad trips you've had?
I didn't have bad trips, man. It was just that was explaining the time that was more so I never had a bad trip on weed, honestly, man. Never. I've got really super high and felt asleep, but never had a bad time on weed, man. So that's great. But whatchamacallit, it was during the time I was like really depressed, and I wanted to like express that because like, you know, every day was just for me to like I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna get high. You know, I don't care right now. Like, you know, whatever's going on with the world right now, I mean, like, whatever. I'm like, I got fired from my job, you know, was having a bit of home problems and shit, you know, not necessarily just family, but other people and shit. And, you know, one day I just say, you know, I'm gonna just delete my social media and try to, you know, before that, like I was just on a whole thing of just straight up smoking weed all the time. Like, just go to my nigga house and just get stoned, didn't do shit. Like, I wasn't even working on music and shit. I was just like, you know, like I got blackballed. I feel like I got blackballed in my hometown a little bit. Like niggas was not giving me shows or let me do shows and shit. And so I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna just lay low, whatever, man. Like I'm gonna just chill out and figure something out. But until then, I'm gonna just keep smoking these blunts. And then I just got off my ass one day and I was like, you know what, man, I'm gonna just delete my social media for a year, man. And that's kind of what it symbolized at the end of the video, like where I walk up out the smoking circle and then just leave the room and shit. Cause I was like, nah, I don't need this shit no more, man. Like I smoke weed still, yeah, but not to ease pain no more, you know. Like now it's just, you know, all right, now I'm back to being like comfortable, you know. Like I've gone through a lot of depression in my life, and you know, Zippo was like, you know, shit so fire, you might as well light it with a Zippo. You know, like might as well, like fuck it, like If you want to make your time worthwhile, I mean, might as well do it with luxury. So fuck you. Well, might as well mask the idea of just you getting high and just light it with a fucking Zippo. Sadly enough, I didn't have a Zippo in the video, but that's how I felt. I'm like, if I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna smoke these blunts big. Like niggas ain't doing this with a Zippo. I'm pretty sure many are, but not my niggas. There go that narcissism again.
Right. On bedroom verse, is this just like a straight smash and pass kind of situation? And are you not?
Yeah, that kind of shit. Yeah, it's like, it's just three different perspectives about like, when a chick is like, when y'all really about to get into it and shit, but she wants to play that little game with you before y'all fuck around and shit. And then it's like, I don't know why we out here playing games, but I mean, let's get to it, because we gotta do all this extra shit, and like, and niggas do it too. They, like niggas want to stall for time. I want to talk, and let's do this and get the drink. Like you got like we've all had that moment as dudes. Like I've had that where like, I want to get the move right. Let me go get the drink. She ready to fuck from the moment she get into the door. Like I'm ready to take this shit off. I'm out here playing games. I'm like, I ain't trying to play games. I just want to kick it and chill for a minute. It's just like, nah, nigga, I'm ready now. But it's kind of like put in that perspective, for like both men and women. But like as a male and being a heterosexual in that sense, like, yeah, I mean that's where my perspective comes from. Like they want to do all this shit, like get the wine and all that. I'm like, man, I don't know why you playing right now, but all right, we can do that. But trust and believe, ain't no game after that.
With the Nice Track VHS, you're going back into your Black is Gold bag here. And what would the feeling of being comfortable while Black in America look like to you?
Being comfortable to be Black in America for me will be the same. To have the same, it would be for me to have the same, the equivalent of white privilege, or if white privilege were to be spread around, were to be given to everybody, where we can actually just be like walk around fucking safe. Like, look, I don't feel like driving and having to get pulled over just because you think I'm somebody. I don't want to feel like just because I'm saying, just because I have the right to buy a gun, and if I chose to buy a gun, I shouldn't be looked at as a criminal. I feel like anybody that buys a gun should be looked at as a potential criminal because you have the potential to cause harm, if not to yourself, then to others. I mean, it's like, like shoot, black man with a gun, all the dangerous. White dude with a gun, that's a patriot. Like, how is it the case? Like, I look at anyone with a gun as dangerous. Shit, you don't want that smoke.
On the track Disrespectful, when has getting into confrontation not gone your way?
I mean, I've always avoided confrontation most times, man. I mean, it's just like, I guess, the concept of disrespectful is the aspect of like what we're just talking about, like being Black in America and stuff. It's like, it's not to say just retaliate, but it's like also like thinking of the mindset of like also like, there's retaliation, there's taking action, and there's just reacting. There's building through the right means, and then there's building through climbing to the top. And climbing to the top sometimes requires you to step on people.
The track Moxie, what characteristics would you say gives you Moxie?
Oh man, I was thinking of that like 20s gangster vibe and stuff, man. Like I've heard that word so many times as a kid, like from watching like, Tex Avery cartoons, fucking John Quimby cartoons like Tom and Jerry and Droopy and shit, and fucking I've heard that word so many times in like old cartoons and old TV shows. But then I was like, to have Moxie basically means to have spunk, to have vigor, to have power, and it's like, like that's kind of like what what I was showcasing in that, it's like, even though there's even though there's times I have my like doubts, and I'm gonna keep my confidence. Moxie's about having that confidence and vigor and shit versus versus having that arrogance in you, you know, like it's more of about like having the self-confidence to pursue.
On Boss Hog, what goes into building your empire?
So Boss Hog, yeah, that kind of like Moxie really leads on the Boss Hog in that aspect of like a level up, you know, like, you know, what it truly means to be a boss in your, you know, in your world and shit, you know, like, you know, it's like how do you put all this shit together in comparison to what you see. You know, like I mean, like, yeah, it's a, you know, it's like it's a wild one because I mean, I wanted like with that song, I wanted to like just I just want to give y'all like straight up bars over this because that beat has been in my head forever. Like it was in my head forever when I made that song, and I was like, because I mean, I'm not gonna reveal the sample, but but I mean, I've heard that song, and I was like, yo, I gotta use that, man, because like that's that acid jazz that I really love, you know, that kind of wild Manhattan style sounding shit, you know, that cowboy bebop sounding shit.
Yeah. And then in this on the 13th track, Cornerstore seems pretty straightforward. I don't think there's any deeper meaning behind this one. It's just like straight up swagger rap, right?
Yeah, we just me and Chris Crack giving bars on that one. Shouts to Chris Crack on the track and all that. Oh, shouts to Corey Ether and Fable on Bedroom Games, man. You know, shouts out to them. Shouts out to Little Kid, DJ Scully. Shouts out to Denmark Vesey, who's on Ray Liotta. Shouts out to my cousin Miles. Love you, cuz. Shouts out to I said Scully already, right? Yeah. Turtle. Turtle on the beats or B Giant. Blacktop Megaphone. Who else made it on this record? Yeah, if I forget some names right now at the moment, you know, we can continue. I'll just shout them out at the end too.
You good? On Ray Liotta, what is your favorite scene from the Goodfellas?
Well, it never really came from Goodfellas, man. I mean, it did kind of, because it's like I can't really say like there was a particular scene. I gotta watch it again, man. But I can't really say there's a. I think my favorite scene was just all the Joe Pesci scenes. Like, let's be real. Those are my favorite scenes. Every Joe Pesci scene when he blew up.
Right. Yeah, he was mad unpredictable.
Like, but it's like, you know, I say the why it's called Ray Liotta is because like I felt like out of like my friends, I've always been the Ray Liotta. You know, like that cool, calm dude who's sure, but then again is cautious. You know, I've always had a friend that, you know, I don't know why I travel in threes, man. I have a friend, you know, like I had a friend that's like Robert De Niro, like just straight up sure. He's like, yo, we're gonna do this. And then another friend that's like straight up like Joe Pesci. I'm just like, dog. And I'm just sitting in the middle of this all the time laughing. I'm like Ray Liotta just sitting here laughing about this shit or get like, what did you say? I ain't saying shit to you, man. I won't even like that. But like, it's kind of like reflecting on like, you know, my past, you know, growing up. And I've always had that happen to me sometimes. Like, I never had like too many friends that blew up on me like that, but I had friends that blew up on other people. But like, I'm always in the middle just sitting there laughing at this shit. Like, man, I can't believe it. Like, I feel like Ray Liotta in his role in he became a boss, but he became a boss by being a fly on the wall in the Goodfellas.
On the track My Guinness, is this a drunken rant?
How'd you hit the nail on the head so quick, my man? That's what I got to ask you on this one.
I don't know. I listened carefully, I guess.
Yeah, it's about my drunken tirade, man. Like, you know, like I say, I've had my moments where like I say weed was my biggest vice through depression, you know, but like alcohol has been like an issue for like some things and shit in my life. Like I ain't gonna lie, man, I've had stupid drunken adventures and stuff, but then like I've had moments where it was just like, all right, you know, fuck it, I'm gonna just drink and then figure it out later. You know, so yeah, it pretty much just talks about my drunken tirades. Like even as a college student and shit, like, oh man, like God, here's a decent drunk story, man. This is funny. this the year after I hung out with some friends from Eastern, right? Came down. I was like, hey, y'all down for these Incredible Hulks? And then, because I mean, we were already drinking prior before, like one time before. And I was like, all right, bet. So you already know what them shits do to your ass.
Oh,
Nigga,
I never had one before.
Hypnotic and Hennessy, man. That's all you need, dude. Y'all, you gotta be a G to drink that shit, man. Like Incredible Hulks, nigga. It's not a game, man. Like, bro, I was drinking motherfucking I started drinking motherfucking, what was it? Green Dragon. You know, I ain't gonna tell people how to do that, so I'll just keep your channel safe. But yeah, people who know what that is, yeah, that'll get you fucked up too. You know, like
doesn't that have absinthe?
No,
in
I
that?
don't. No, I'll tell you about that later.
Oh.
But yeah,
Okay.
Green Dragon, yeah. If y'all feeling froggy, and since it's like, you know, still some quote unquote quarantine, and you wanna get used to it, hey, do it if you want to. But it's gonna be one hell of a time. But anyways, man, we went over to my homie brother house, and you know, we're hanging out, drinking over there. Them shits had hit me like in the middle of us at this party and shit. And so they like knocked down their lamp or some shit like that. And then we wound up like smoking a bowl. And then like niggas was like, man, bro, you knocked down a lamp. I'm like, I ain't knocked down shit. What the fuck you talking about? Like, I didn't remember none of this shit. And then messed around and then I guess we walked outside and I saw some snow in a car. And I just started kicking snow off a car. Bro, I was messed up. I'm not even gonna lie about that shit. I was just like, bro, drunken tirades. Yeah, I was like, bro, I am not. Like, I woke up the next day and my homies were telling me all about this. I'm like, yeah, damn. I'm gonna need to slow down. This is bad.
Yeah. With the track Muse, can this relationship that you have with this girl that you're rapping about be a simile of your journey through life?
No, actually, it's actual relationship. Well, not a relationship, but it was kind of like you know, like those. Not it was never an on again, off again relationship. But you know those people you that like just be around. They just for some reason like you just keep them around in your life for some odd shape or reason. Anyone can relate to that. You know, for me, it was a person I was talking to. Like this is like when I first moved here and shit or whatever. But you know, it was one of those like, you know, like all right, we were into each other. After a while it was over, I was in a relationship. I don't know. I didn't care about what happened to her. Then after that was over, I started talking to her again, and you know, she kind of kept popping up. You know, during my time while single, or I kept popping up in this sense. Not like I was like stalking or nothing like that, but it was like, yeah, it's like a really long one. But I mean, the song tells it in itself. It's like, you know, it's like, you know, it's like you want to be with that person, but at the same time, it's like you see the flaws in them in the sense of like, it's like it's not to say that like you can't love someone in their flaws. Like, everyone has flaws, but then there's flaws in the sense of like building a relationship, and like you can't be around somebody that doesn't want you.
On the final track, Oou Wops, is this a story about somebody beating up a girl's man?
It's an over exaggerated story and shit. I'm not gonna lie about that. You know, I'm not no hood dude or nothing like that. But at the same time, I know what part you're talking about. Like, you was falling dry. His ass was talking. He got stomped out. So, let me explain the song and I'll talk about that. So it's like the overall thing about the album is about me accepting myself. The album is about a lot of self-confidence and self-acceptance about, yes, there are some things in your past that have been shit and shitty. I may not have gone into great detail into a lot of things, but you have done some shit things in your life. But at the same time, it's how do you grow? How do you build up, you know? And then, you know, the beginning of the song Oou Wops explains it itself. It's like walking back to the apartment, chilling. And then we see this chick fall on the third set of stairs. And then her roommate started laughing and noticed it first. I was laughing at the shit. And then she was like, it's not funny. I'm like, it is funny, you stupid bitch. My dumb ass. And so guess what happened? Her boyfriend gonna come up. This nigga like 5'6". Now I'm like 6'5", right? and I mind you that the town we were in was a small white town and shit. It's Charleston, Illinois. So during that time when this happened, there were like already 2 cops posted up. There was a third one that drove by. So dude was trying to push me. And then so I just deflected every hit. I mean, I took martial arts way back when and shit. So I mean, I ain't no punk. I mean, I ain't saying like, oh, nigga need to try me. Ain't nothing like that. It's just, at the time, it's like, you gotta defend yourself. I'm trying to de-escalate the situation. It's like, yeah, was I wrong for calling this girl a bitch? Yeah, I was. I was very wrong for saying that. It wasn't right. And I deserved the dude to come at me with that action. But at the same time, it's like we didn't need to get into a fight. I see how I felt. Because I mean, I would have been the same way. Like, man, fuck you. If someone came at my girl right now, I would have been the same way. But real talk, like, I should have kept my mouth shut. Again, I brought it up I brought that. And so after that, like, what is it? Dude backed down for a second and would try to get at me. And then he tried to swing at my girl, and then she died, and then I moved her out the way and she dodged. And then I'm screaming at him. I'm ready to fire on the guy. But I'm like, man, there are 3 cops here, and I'm black, and this dude is white, and they don't think I'm beating this dude up. I really got to think about this logically, like literally got to think about it methodically in the sense of like, what can I do without having to result me going to jail? Because I was on a track team on a scholarship. I'm already taking classes and shit, and we don't even need to be in this shit. Like, the moment I get arrested, that'll all go away. It's out of nowhere, like, he gonna choke my mans, and he gonna choke him back. They go in the middle of the street. I break them apart. And I'm like, yo, we done. Get the fuck back. We are done, dude. We are not trying to fight you. I'm sorry for calling your girl a bitch, but for real, we are done. We are not trying to fight you. Was nobody trying to fight your little ass? So we all walked off and had to, I apologized to my girl at the time. I felt bad because I'm like, I should have swung on his ass. Pretty sure niggas in the comments will probably be like, oh, yeah, you should have swung on him. Like, yeah, I should have. But if you really look at the situation and how it was going to go, like, I want to go to jail for. I ain't willing. I ain't willing to go to jail for people for certain occasions. Don't get me wrong. I'm not like a down person like that. It's like, but I ain't at the same time ain't willing to go to jail for anybody or for anything. Like if it had to do with anything with my family, I mean that's obvious. But we ain't gonna talk about all that. But still, like that was a high tense situation. We had to really learn how to play it cool, and not a lot of people. I mean, I'm gonna be real. I wouldn't have been mad at someone who was in the same situation would have swung on dude in front of three squad cars. Hey man, but it was a really shitty situation, man. But it was one of those like when I brought up that part in that aspect, it was like, like hey, if people want to say I'm a bitch, whatever, man. Like I ain't no bitch in that aspect. It's like you got to know your surroundings. It's like it's no different if he had homies behind him and shit. It was just ready to do what they need to do. Gotta play. I don't know. I'm a person who likes to play it smart. But
yeah, that whole situation could have got out of control for sure.
Completely out of control. And I'm glad I didn't name names, but it could have got completely out of control. But I'm glad it didn't. It was one of those like that's what the meaning of Oou Wops is. It's like yeah, you can indulge in your self-indulgences and vices and stuff, but you got to be aware of the dangers of what you're doing. I mean, there's a lot of things I don't even do anymore, because of things I've seen, learned, and experienced. Because it's like, there ain't no point to it. Shit, I don't even go out to the club like that. The only time I ever go out to the club is if I'm like seeing another rapper when they're performing or something like that, or I got a show, but or niggas out there making appearances, and I'm just like, hey, like make an appearance, say what up to everybody who won't be at the spot, what up? Hey, yo, let's connect, do a track without the bam, head to the crib.
All right, sir. Thank you for joining me on this call. Go ahead and plug the album and where we can find the music.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be coming out, man, in first week of November, man. Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, and Tidal, YouTube, Sound. Well, DJ Scully, Chris Crack, Denmark Vesey, Corey Ether, Fable, Landon Wordswell. You know, shout out to all y'all, man. Shout out to Doug on the mastering, you know, shout out to Throne Age, you know. Shout out to all my niggas, man. Like for real, you know. Peace to the gods, man.
Jam.